In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Welcome back to another pointless automotive podcast. This
Good day.
episode, good day to you, everybody. I just want to let everybody know, preface this episode, that we are delivering on the goods. Our title, our namesake, our what else? Our trademark, loose trademark offer. This is going to be pointless because we have no topic today, guys.
I was going to say I'm really excited because this is a topic I've been wanting for a while now. Just a completely true to the name, completely pointless exercise of nonsense, which is we don't even have a topic.
Nothing.
Yeah, nada. Zero. I mean, like we can talk about, presumably it'll be car centric, I'm thinking. I mean, that would be also true to our name. Yes. We don't have to talk about the fact I'm wearing a shirt covered in hot dogs. We don't have to talk about anything or everything. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to go like terribly into like the stuff you're not supposed to talk about, like politics and religion. And to be fair, like all of that can burn anyway, so it doesn't much matter. How about you? What do you, what is there anything in this this topicless episode that you desperately want to talk about or want to avoid? Maybe.
No, I think everything's fair game for sure. Everything's on the table, including my junk. But
well, you're familiar with North Bay rapper extraordinaire, Smooth E. Are you familiar with Smooth E?
No, well, I'm not from the Bay Area, so I kind of miss out on some of your local historical.
Well, Smooth E is from Sebastopol, which is borderline Bay Area. It's on the outskirts for sure. It's somewhat rural Sonoma County.
Okay.
And he has a saying in one of his songs: "You've got to be willing and able to put your dick on the table."
You got to be. Yeah. So right. I was just trying to excuse that creaking of lumber you might have heard. But
right.
Topicless episode. This is interesting. So let's start this off, Frank. Let's talk about we can move pretty quick through the subject.
Baby.
Are we gonna sell some cars? Are you selling cars?
Man, we're just going right into it, Ari. All right, fine. I need to, man. And so like here's the thing. Like,
what's the plan, dude? Don't give me the full fucking like the Bible version. Give me what's your quick pitch on what your exit strategy is for the current situation you've gotten into?
Genesis, book a job. I don't know. Oh boy. So okay, the exit strategy is so the thing behind me needs to go. That's the Porsche 924 Turbo. I need to fish it out of this garage so I can A, clean up my damn garage, B, get it sold. I need to make sure it's running at least. That's the thing. I don't know what I'm up against truly with it. I kind of poked around it. Everything seems to be okay, even though last time I drove it, it left me stranded. So like
it's not okay.
It's not okay. And if I snap my fingers and it's perfectly running all of a sudden, it doesn't need a whole lot to be like truly ready to be sold. Just a couple little nitpicky things I want to clean up. If you can kind of see in the video, there's like pillar trim here that's supposed to be trim blacked out and it's like faded to white primer and like there's some of that stuff I need to touch up. Like the seats have been recovered, timing belt, water pump. I've got a lot of money in the car. If I can't get it running more than like be able to move it on and off of a truck, and if it needs a turbo, which it may or may not need, I'm losing money on it no matter what.
Yeah.
So I kind of need to punt. I hate to just completely. If I can get 6 out of it the way it sits, I'll still lose money, but like I think that's probably fair, considering what's into it. It's got brand new tires. It's got brand new seats. It's got a lot of love put in it, and then it doesn't need a whole lot more, but I'm out of time and energy and space.
Is so the body's pretty good?
Body's pretty good. It's got a pretty good dent under the driver's rear tail lamp.
Okay.
The passenger fender's a little wonky. There's some paint issues on that fender and on the hood. But it's like fleet white, or alpine white as it is, and so it's not terribly difficult to just like spot paint. It was originally a single stage. It's not too hard to contend with. That's the one that I'm probably the most over.
Yeah.
Second to that is now that I've got a new taillight in the Lexus. that I had to get out of the freaking United Arab Emirates.
That was hilarious.
The that did land. So the Civic can now go, but it now needs stuff. The AC compressor finally gave up the ghost on me while I was driving it around. So now the AC compressor just doesn't even kick on. So it's done.
You're gonna just send it down the road, or you're gonna try to fix all those little issues?
I mean, I already have a replacement compressor.
Okay.
There's a shop. There's my little like local hole in the wall shop that'll swap it out for like probably 3 hours of labor. Which I might just do it because it's kind of a pain in the junk spot. And without a lift, it sucks. You got to do it from under the car.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I can find someone to give me $3,000 for it the way it sits. I'd probably do it. If I can get the compressor done and try and get 4, it's probably worth my energy. But even then, I still am chasing this evap issue that I can't sluss out. So that's got to go, and then it's really kind of nut cutting time when it comes to what to sell off next. Is it the green 924? Here's the thing. Help me out with this one.
Did this turn into a fleet episode already?
maybe. But here, how about this? What are? Tell me if this is a bad idea or not. We won't get into the rest of the fleet, but what if I were to make the Galant my daily for a little bit?
Out of knowing what you own,
because that would mean I would like maybe sell the Lexus.
The Galant runs well.
It's about to run well because the clutch master slave went out, or sorry, primary and secondary cylinder.
Okay.
Went out. I think it's the secondary cylinder, aka the slave cylinder. I think that's the one that went out because the master looks good, but they were cheap. I got a
super cheap, super easy to do on those cars. So that's not a big problem. But that car is sorted. Like that's a very well mechanically sorted car, and we know it's reliable and it's comfy. AC work in that one?
It does.
I mean, that doesn't sound horrible.
That's why I'm like,
that doesn't sound horrible at all. And it's still cool. Like when you show up in that car, it's got a lot more. It's got a lot more going for it than a LS. I mean, the LS is great.
I just know that like if I can clean up the LS and move it, like I can put like $15,000 in my pocket. And then because out of all the things that I currently have, the only 2 that are truly off limits are the Barracuda,
right,
and the S2000. Okay. That's it. The rest of it can go, kind of, but it's a sliding scale. The next closest one to untouchable right now is the Galant. But if I can daily the Galant, at least for a little bit, right? I'm sure the Bloom will come off the roads after 5,000 miles on that car.
I don't think so. What they're a lot of most of the Mitsubishi Galant VR4s I've owned are like 230K cars, and you're well short of that. So I don't think there's a reason you can't put mileage on one of these cars.
The only thing preventing me from really like feeling just genuinely good about it, it's not like the reliability thing. Like if I have the S2000 to limp around for a while, I don't have a true commute. So like, you know, if I'm down, if I go a week without a car or a week with just the S2000 to drive, it's not that big a deal. So, or even the Suburban right now, if I have a tow rig on hand, which I don't, maybe I might get to a spot where I could sell that too. And then like, oh, I have to tow something super occasionally, I'll just like rent or borrow something. I don't know. I don't want to make this a fleet. I don't want to make this another damn fleet episode.
Too late.
So I just want to go back to that one point then, like daily driving a 91 Galant VR4.
Fix the nagging things that are getting to you, like obviously clutch and slave, slave and master for the clutch. Get that taken care of. Make it drivable. And just drive it because you don't have a grind commute. You don't have a shitty, like you're not going to put a ton of mileage on it. It's going to be cool when you show up in that Galant VR4. It's always a conversation piece, and that car goes down the road really nice.
It does, and I every time I drive it, like if I haven't driven it in a while and I drive it, I'm like, man, like I just like the way it drives. It drives well, and so part of it is like yeah, it's hard for me to get rid of it for a lot of reasons. If I can make the one thing I don't love about it is it's not exactly like super up on like modern safety features. Not that I need it like whatever, like we die like men, but like if it's my daily and I have to like shuttle my kid around all over the place all the time, you know, I feel pretty. I've whatever. I don't even want to say anything, but like for jinxing reasons. But it's just I don't know. Like it, there's a little bit of like I wish this thing was an actual tankness because I see people do really stupid things all day, every day, driving around, and it's like, man,
I'd rather
like
be
I'd
in
hate
that.
for someone to hurt this car and or me in it, or
I'd
my
rather be
family
in the
in it.
Galant than a Miata. You know, let's be
Oh,
honest. It's a
absolutely,
pretty
yeah,
damn stout like chassis.
yeah. It's in the grand scheme of things, it's good, but there's like no airbags and like I don't know. I
You want
if
me
it
to put some
was
Takata airbags in there for you, make you feel a little better?
yeah, right, exactly. Just get like a straight up Claymore with wheels. I don't know. So that's what I'm bouncing around the idea of. Not that we need to continuously talk about my foibles and failure to sell a bunch of cars. But I think I don't know. I don't know. That's where I've been in my headspace has been super lately. Has been like, man, maybe I can just daily a Galant VR4 and then be like a true dyed in the wool like bonus points car moron.
I've
Um,
definitely and I've dailied a Galant VR4 when I was in
Me too. When I was in
North.
college, I dailied
Yeah,
one.
when I was in Northern Virginia, just outside DC, I even took it back to Maine, which is like a 12-hour like road trip in the middle of the winter. So I've been there, and it is a hell of a good daily. It's comfy, great
Yeah.
visibility, easy to drive,
Hmm.
all-wheel drive when you need it, which isn't that much here.
No.
But they're well built. The interiors are really nice on them.
Hmm.
It doesn't feel cheap like a lot of 90s stuff. So I think that's not a bad idea, my friend. And get that if you can make some money on the LS, kick it out the door.
Yeah, and then I can get like termites out of my house and like do other things that I need to like with my actual life. Um, that would be cool. How about this? While we're recording, it is yet to be Monterey Car Week. I suppose when this episode drops, I think we might be right in the teeth of Monterey Car Week. Maybe right
Sounds
after. I'm not sure. What Are you doing anything for Monterey Car Week? Have you been to a Monterey Car Week? I don't know
I've
if we've ever
done
discussed this.
Yeah, I've done a few Monterey Car Weeks for sure. Monterey is like probably yeah, it's absolutely my favorite place in California. The
It's cool.
mild climate. I'm used to being around the ocean. It's the wrong ocean, but it works, you know. But
So peaceful, that Pacific.
yeah, it is. It is. It's on the wrong horizon. It's really awkward, you know.
The
But
Event Horizon.
they messed up the event. It's a great movie, by the way. Um, yeah, great movie. But it's I love Monterey. Car Week's cool too. I'm not going to be I have a lot of stuff coming up, so I'm
Sure.
going to be away for that. But I like it. One of my favorite things to do is just random streets near downtown or
Yeah.
even close to like the Fisherman's Wharf and stuff. You always see cool ass cars street parked. Because everybody's coming out to it, they're always showing up. They want to show up in their cool stuff, and like 9 times out of 10, the coolest cars are the ones attending the shows, not the one in the show. So I see a lot of cool stuff. Just car spotting. It's probably like the best like holiday season for car spotting down there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's funny. There's I feel like there's stereotypical ways that people do Monterey Car Week, right? Like eh, eh, there's the group of people who are like super low key, brings some like heavy hitting cars and just like street parks it like it's nothing and doesn't rev the engine, drives it really slow and quietly and pulls it up. And it's like, is that one of the, is it, like someone do like a 959 or something where you're just like, what in the world? And then you have the next guy, what'll be like some dude with like four of his other douchey, terrible car crew where they're just like bouncing their hurricanes off the rev limiter, and it's yeah, the chrome wrap and just like the douche missile thing, which is like not my cup of tea. And then you have other people just show up and they're like, yeah, they're like random Miata or something. I'm trying to get down there for it. I don't have a place to stay. So I might be an idiot and just I might take the Suburban down there and just like sleep in the back of the Suburban for a night.
Dude.
Because I can't you can't get a room right now. Like I've got some like feelers out to some people that are like, oh, we've got a house and we might have an extra room or a couch you can crash on.
Oh,
And
that makes
if that
sense.
pans
Yeah.
out,
because the
if that
hotels
pans
are
out,
always booked. Yeah.
yeah, they're booked like a year in advance, and if you can find something, it's like $2,800 for a room or something dumb.
There's a shitty place that's on the outskirts that we used to stay at when I used to have track days at Laguna Seca, and it was like
Yes.
it was a motel, but it was like fine because you just drank and passed out and then woke up and went racing in the morning. So
Exactly.
it was good for that. But there's so many good hotels too. I was actually just down in Monterey like 2 weekends ago. Yeah, love it down there.
Yeah, I was there not that long ago. I was just down at Santa Cruz, did the whole boardwalk thing. I hadn't been down there in a long time. Took the kid down there. So that was good. But like the ultimate power move car week thing is you nail down one of the camping spaces around Laguna Seca, and you camp up there. Like that's
cool. Yeah.
That's the big unit energy edition. But yeah, I don't know. I want to go down there. I was there last year for the little car show. I brought the Sandbar photo booth out there and had a good time. But yeah, if I can like just work down there for a couple of days and just hobnob and not day drink, I don't know, but like yeah, just like I think it would be cool. And I don't know. It'll be good no matter what I end up doing, whether I'm just there for a day or not. Like it's I've never done like the actual like on the lawn pebble thing. Like have you?
No, I've never done
actual concourse.
Yeah, never done that one. But
Yeah.
hey, getting back to our first topic, man, you know what the best thing about selling all your cars is? That big stack of cash you get, and you're like, wow, what do I do with all this money? And then you turn around,
hand of blackjack.
But listen to this. No, you put it into other shit boxes to bring back immediately. Don't enjoy it. Don't think about it. Don't let it look at any of your bank accounts. You just slam that bad boy into rockauto.com and you buy
your parts, your car will never. That's that. You okay? So it sounds like you probably play the same mind trick that I play with myself, where I'm like, man, if I put this in my bank account, then presumably I might have to pay taxes on it. However, if it never touches a bank account and it just gets spent on other car nonsense and it's just cash in, cash out, it's
this is a machine that feeds itself with me because like I like to use the proceeds from a car sale to go into the parts for the next project. And it just it's a
automotive Ouroboros or whatever you call the snake
that's it.
Itself.
Eating itself, and that's exactly what happened. So like I said in the end of the last episode, I'm buying parts for 3 cars currently, and dude, like everything's got, let's talk about car part prices, dude. Tires have doubled in the past like 3 years, man. What
tires are, it's like hard to get a good set of tires, like for not even mounted and balanced, just like dropped on your lap for under $800.
It's insane. But back in the day, 400 to 500 got you 4 great tires.
Mounted, balance out the door.
It's insane. But like that's something you got to factor in.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, but it's true, right? Like, so when I buy cars, 9 times out of 10, here are the things I'm replacing: tires, a battery. Batteries also twice the price, last half as long as they used to be.
Right. That's why I just get a bunch of 9 volts and just like daisy chain them together.
That's very nice.
Power move. Yep.
What I like to do is I like to like charge the battery up and have the car running when they come to check it out. And I'm like, hey, enjoy your trip home. Just don't shut it off.
Exactly. I got it good and warm for you. It's like the last thing you're supposed to do.
I love that. Yeah. Car's idling. I can see freaking oil dripping out underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like boiling over at idle. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Good times. Good times. What else should we get into in this topicless episode?
Oh, well, actually, can I bring something else that ruffles my feathers? Man, selling cars.
You know what grinds my gears? Yeah.
Selling cars is so much harder than buying cars. It sucks. Like the effort, like and I take whenever I sell cars, I take it very seriously. I like to write very well written ads. I like to explain everything in detail, maintenance. I like to put a couple videos in there. I shot of the vehicle. If it's a vehicle I covered on a project, series or a review, I like to drop that in there. I take pretty decent photos, every angle. I don't omit like driver's side bolsters for the seat. Right. I don't omit like damage. But the thing is, man, you get the people come out of the woodwork with cars, because especially if you're dealing with like weirder cars, like we traffic in, you get some fucking characters, and I meet some cool people and like trades, some really cool trades. But dude, there's still the lowball garbage people every time you sell a car, dude.
That was when I was selling the Boxster, when I had my bargain Boxster. Which, like, and that's the same. Like, I was very upfront with it. Like, it's going to need, X, Y, Z, like intermittent check engine light for secondary air, and you need this. And I bought the part. Da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was able to limp it through smog, but like, so you can register it and all the things. And the amount of just nonsense lowball bullshit that I got. I think I was asking 68 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like fair market, and I was like, yeah, I'll ask 68. If I can get 6, I'll let it go. And I think I got asking on it or close. But the amount of stuff were like, I'll give you $2,500 cash, like I'm gonna take, whatever, Dogecoin or horny ape NFTs or whatever,
Right.
like, or like, trade for this other like extreme clapped out piece of garbage. It's like,
Yeah.
no. Um,
Well, dude,
yeah.
speaking of bad like offers, so I had the 300ZX twin turbo and the Miata for sale at the same time, right?
Mhm.
And there was a $4,000 price delta between the two cars. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
so there's a decent gap there, and I'm selling
Sure.
them both for pretty good value. They both sold within a day.
Yeah.
This one dude is like, I'll give you $8,000. And I thought he was talking about the Miata, and I'm like, no, I got a lot of interest. I'm not gonna like reduce the
Yeah.
price. And then so I go, and he goes like, what all have you done to it? And I'm like, I'm answering so many emails and messages.
Yeah, they're getting that,
I'm like, oh, it's got a new top, all this stuff. And he's like, you put a new top on it on a 300ZX. And I'm like, you were offering for the 300ZX? And the guy's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you are like half the price right now.
Right. Yeah.
And it was so funny. And I'm like, do you want the Miata? And he's like, no, I only want that. I'm like, okay, see ya. But it was like the funniest thing. I thought he was really lowballing me on the Miata, but he ended up lowballing me on an even more expensive car.
Yeah. No thanks.
Garbage.
It's fun. Like, I know people that do that too. They're like, oh yeah, like almost like the Nigerian prince scam, right? Where like you put out so many messages and you don't expect like everyone or even half or 1/10 of the people to like fall for the scam. Like, you just, like, if you throw out 100 messages and you get one person to bite, then like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I know people that do that with just absolutely kicking people in the dick with lowball offers on like Facebook Marketplace. And
So here's the
they're
thing,
like,
though,
dude, I
man.
just sent it up there. What's the worst I can say? The worst I can say is no, and I move on. And it's like,
Yeah, but your reputation shit, especially if you're on like Marketplace where it tracks your like seller rating and buyer
Right.
ratings. But the thing is too, like, here's the deal. You send that low ball offer out and someone accepts it that one time. That's because that car is a fucking ticking time bomb of a disaster. And if you think you won out, you have lost the lottery if that person's willing to take your low ball.
Yeah, your 25% offer. Yeah, like, it's just
Sometimes, dude, I become like a condescending piece of shit, and I send them links to like a shitty car in their price range, and I'm like, this is actually a buddy of mine selling this, and it's more fitting for your price, and it's like absolutely shit.
Did I tell you about Did I tell you about when I sold my 92X Aero?
No.
So, okay,
Was that the
2005.
head gasket on that one?
No. Well, it might have fallen victim ultimately. So 2005 92X Aero, I bought from my car donation guys before I was doing any work for them at all. I would just like Joe Blow off the street. So yeah, it's WRX in Swedish meatball clothing. It had, I want to say it had like 120,000 miles on it.
Okay.
Salvage title, and you can see why. It was hit on the right front headlamp, which was broken. It had the premium package. It was HID lamp.
Oh yeah.
Fender was crushed, and then a crease down both passenger doors. So salvage title, but I got a good deal on it. Like, it had like 100. Maybe it was. You know what? I think it was just over 100,000 miles. It was like 110.
Okay.
5-speed metallic black with the black and white two-tone leather interior.
The cream
sunroof, HIDs, heated seats. Nice car. And I was like, so I got it for I think like $2,500. Drove it home, and the car was, I don't want to say it was haunted, but like pretty soon after I got it, it ended up needing a clutch. So I had the clutch done, and then also, like, I had no record of a timing belt water pump ever being done on this car at 110,000 miles, the original one from 05. And this was about 5-ish years ago. So I didn't have time to do the timing belt water pump. I had a shop do it near me for pretty reasonable. I want to say it was like $800 for a timing belt water pump job.
But between
On
that
my
and the
car.
clutch, that's good money. That's good money you got into
Yeah,
it.
did all that. I found a good use fender and headlight. The fender was painted to match, so I swapped that out. And I didn't do tires on it, but shortly after I bought it, I ended up needing I had a catastrophic wheel bearing failure. Didn't lose the wheel, but if I drove like another half of a mile, like
Would have taken off, yeah.
it was game over, yeah. Um, so I did that. I had like it ate the whole bearing race out of the knuckle and into the meat of the knuckle. Like I had to do a whole.
Didn't growl or whine before?
No, you know what? There was no growling or whining, but I noticed I was driving it to Oakland, and on my way out to Oakland, I noticed it was the driver's rear.
Okay.
It was the bearing that went, and I noticed like I changed lanes and it felt like a little shimmy in the rear.
Yeah, a little loose. Yep.
I was like, that's weird. And so I did it again. I was like, man, there's something ain't right. I was like, all right, well, I'll get it back. And so I got to where I was going and I look around and I'm like, everything looks okay, just visually, right? I was like, I'll deal with it when I'll put it in the air when I get home. On my drive back, I get through the Caldecott Tunnel and I'm coming down into Lafayette, and it's doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden, um, boink, ABS warning light comes on. I'm like, that ain't good. And then I start hearing a pretty heavy growl, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I think I lost a wheel bearing. And so like, all right, let me pull off. And like as I'm pulling off the freeway, it's like real bad. So I pull off the exit. It's like my next exit, and there's a gas station there, and I limp it into the gas station, and I look, and it's just like it's like negative towed in, and yeah, I mean it was gone. And actually, no, I take it back. I think it was the left front.
Okay.
I swear it was the front. I think it was the front. No. But yeah, I mean, it was gone. That's what it did. It bit the head off of the ABS sensor. That's how much play there was.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it was no good. So I did all that. So I had money tied up in the car. I lent it to my dad at one point because he needed to drive somewhere. I said, hey, here you go.
Now I remember
He's driving
timing
it.
belt.
He's driving it almost towards the Caldecott Tunnel, and it fucking burst into flames. Boom, burst into flames on him. So yeah, dude, this was like 800 miles after I did all this work on this car. I'm like, all right, whatever. No idea what happened. Like my dad was like, yeah, just like all of a sudden, like the dash lit up like a Christmas tree, and like I had no power. So he's like, I pulled it over, and as I got it up to the side of the freeway, just like smoke was pouring up from under the hood.
Jesus.
So who knows? Fire department came in and just like they like chopped the hood open with the jaws of life and just like drenched the engine bay in water and then like left it. So I mean, it was gone, but it was like it was instantly a parts car. So I had it towed back to the house, and I put it on just like Facebook Marketplace or whatever. And I think I put it up for like $1,500. Like, hey, interior's good. These are Saab parts, so like some of this, the tail lights, like a lot of the stuff is like specific to this.
Mm-hmm.
Saab doesn't exist anymore. Like, come get your parts, right? So I forgot. I got a couple messages about it. I'm calling people back, and so I call one of the guys, and I talked to him. I was like, hey, I've got the 92X. He's like, oh yeah, cool. He's like, I'm definitely very interested in it. I can't talk to you right now. I'm busy. Can I talk to you tomorrow? I said, sure, sounds good. Give me a call. On to the next guy. Talk to the next guy. Talk to the next guy. Talk to the next guy. Right? Like, and that guy's like, oh yep. I'm super interested. The next guy, right? The second guy I get a hold of. Oh yeah, I'm super interested. I really want to come see it. Can I come see it at like 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? I said, perfect. Here's the address where it's at. Tell them all I know about the car. I'm there with the guy comes, he looks at it, he's like, cool, I'll send my tow truck. I'm gonna have AAA come get it. He'll be there. He gave me asking price. And tow truck came and got it, right? Like as I'm sitting there, like with the tow truck, right? The guy's gone home. The tow truck's gonna come to get it. Tow truck's there loading it up. I get a call from the first guy I talked to, right? The guy that said, hey, I want it, but hey, I don't have time to talk. Can I talk to you tomorrow? I said, yeah, fine. I said, oh yeah, hey man, like sorry, I ended up selling it. The guy was livid. He kept texting me like, I can't believe you would do this to me. I thought you were a good person. I was like, I literally responded with lol. And he was so hot. And he's like, we had a promise. Like, I can't believe. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I said, like,
We
let's
had
talk
a
about the
blood
car.
oath, brother.
Exactly. I was like, I sent him a screenshot of like the text, like you said you were interested in the car, and that you couldn't talk, and we would talk another time. That was the end of it. Like, the guy was like, it was the most unbelievable thing I've ever
Yeah.
dealt with on selling a car on like marketplace. That's like half the time. It's just like selling a car on like a lot of these platforms, like classified stuff, whether it's Craigslist or marketplace, whatever, sucks.
It
Like, it
does.
sucks
But here's the
bad.
thing, man. Craigslist is the shit now, because so that $5 really forced
Mhm.
like everyone on the marketplace, because it's an infinite
Yep.
value difference between free
Mhm.
and $5.
Right.
But that's a $5 qualifier, my friend. No one is putting fake cars or bullshit on there without the intent to seriously sell a vehicle, because you have to pony up to get the car listed.
You know what's interesting? I find
Yeah,
it the better spot to buy, not sell.
same. No, both. Absolutely both. Because I sell way more through Craigslist, and more respectable people that send me an actual formal email. They send their phone numbers. They want to like talk about it. They know about the car.
You don't get the 420 friendly question mark text.
Yeah, right. I will give you 5 roses on our first date.
Right.
But it's just like the Craigslist is like the auction sites for like the common person, local auction sites, because you get on there and it's like legitimately people that want to buy a car, or in this case sell a car. So I find that, like, dude, the quality of the people fielding my car for sale ads are just so much better. And I think I sold all
Yeah.
3 of my vehicles that I just sold on Craigslist.
On Craigslist. What I found what I found frustrating the last time I tried to sell on Craigslist, now it's been a minute, and it would be like not even a car that would be mine. It would be like for my car donation homies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would get an enormous amount of spam.
They've gotten better.
And
They've
like
gotten so
scammer
much
stuff.
better.
But it's been like a full calendar year since I put, to the point where like I just was putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace, because the amount of like scammers or no-show stuff that like I would get on Facebook was just kind of outrageous.
Well, it depends also, man. If you're pushing the stuff like more common vehicles like a Honda Accord, I find you're going to get a ton more spam, because there's more people
Sure.
like interested in fucking around with that. But with weird stuff, I find like actual enthusiasts and everything on Craigslist, and at like marketplaces like home of the low baller, the garbagey kind of fake profiles. Craigslist now with that $5 is like a qualifier. I'm
The
dead
$5
serious.
foot long.
Yeah, exactly. Jared will come to your house and you can sit on his lap, and it's a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. Chris Hansen will ask him to take a seat in the corner.
You will, yeah. I
That'll
have
be
the
good.
chat log, so you might want to start telling me the truth.
Yeah.
But
God damn it.
it's absolutely true, though. I found Craigslist to be very agreeable now, and it's well worth. I've sold every car, and no bullshit. Like, I've gotten asking or more, via Craigslist. So it's definitely the way to go if you're looking to sell something, and quick. None of my cars lasted more than, like, the 300ZX. I had a deposit within 2 hours of posting the ad.
Maybe
And
you're
then,
just not asking enough, man.
no, dude, I am a fair market guy. I get my cars for a good price. I put my effort in. I do obviously benefit from the content I create. So I'm not trying to
Sure.
beat anyone up for prices. And it's cool. Like, and I can be a little discriminatory on who my car goes to. I like to see it go to an enthusiast versus someone that's going to flip it.
Right.
I don't think I'm off the market when I price my cars. I do quite a bit of research, but I want to get a car sold. I want to get it sold. I don't want to dick around. Sometimes you don't have 2 months to wait.
Should we real time this? What should I look up on Craigslist right now and see what's on here? We'll just do this in real effing time. Should I see if there's anything on here?
Ooh, what are you looking for? Anything?
I don't know. I'm gonna search NX2000. No results.
No, that's not gonna. That's way too rare.
Prelude.
Do CRX. Get a Honda CRX. Nice.
Let's get a
CRX
SI. CRX. What's on the market right now for CRXs? Oh boy, not much. Oh, look at this though.
I bet it's a good one. I guarantee it's a good one.
Bro. Oh, it's not a CRX. They lied. It's not a CRX, but it's still cool.
Civic.
It's an 84
Ooh.
Civic hatch 1500S, which was before the SI.
Yes.
So carbureted, 12 valve. It's very clean, red over silver two-tone.
Ooh.
It is a 5-speed manual. It has 107,000 miles. Oh, that's the kicker. Wait, well, let's see.
No, you said
No,
5 speed.
it says salvage title.
Ah,
But like I've seen where they mess that
this
up.
game's
Oh
horrible.
no, it has a salvage title.
No, Marketplace. So Marketplace sometimes has salvage that isn't salvage. The biggest thing on Marketplace is if you don't scroll all the way down, you don't hit automatic or manual. So a lot of the manual car, and you got to verify with the photos to see that gear shift, right?
Guess the asking price on this. Yeah, 106,000 miles. It's remarkably clean. Like the paint is super shiny. The interior is very clean. It's like
salvage title.
Salvage title. That's the rub.
70,
I thought it was
$7,800.
$6,500.
Wow, that sounds pretty fair.
Yeah, it's quite fair.
I bet that would be quite the Radwood or Car Show car too.
With a clean title, I think that would be the.
Well,
the
no one knows what your
hoo-ha.
title looks like when you show it. You want to go through
Exactly. Okay, how about this? Should we at one point do an episode on salvage titles?
We should do
What's your
that.
opinion on salvage titles without giving away the farm?
I have owned some salvage titles. I'm not a fan of the people that flex with their salvage title nice cars that they couldn't afford. But I had a beat up old spec Miata. It wasn't actually beat up too bad. It was pretty nice. It was an old former spec Miata that was de-spec'd for street use. And I got a hell of a lot of car for a lot less money. And it was just going to be my beat up, like fun mountain car. So, and I did track it a little bit. So that was a good deal. But for if you want a newer salvage, I'd avoid that personally. Sure. And if you're going to flex on the car outside of your pay grade, do not go the salvage route. Trust me.
Yeah, your salvage title like R8.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You don't get salvage maintenance costs associated with that vehicle. You will be out the same amount as the clean title guy. So that's some just personal financial advice. But I think different strokes for different folks. But for me, where I'd like to do restorations and try to recoup some of my costs, I like clean title cars.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, for sure. Like if you're gonna do that, but like I've owned a few cars that I've had as dailies that were salvage titles. I had my 87 4Runner, my white one, the last one that I've had was a salvage title. And it was great. And like if you caught it in the right light, it was a single stage white, and you can be like, oh, I can see that there's like they like spot painted down the entire side, like it got like laid over or something.
Yeah.
And then an 86 Celica GTS with like it had like 100,000 miles when I bought it. I paid $1,500 for it. Great car but it had a salvage title, and that's like why it was so cheap. But yeah, it was my wife's daily in college for a long time. And then I ended up selling it like 4 years later for $1,500.
Can we be honest though? Salvage title cars are not all created equal.
Absolutely not.
There are legit salvage title cars where they're very upfront. They have photos of the damage that salvaged the vehicle, the history of the car, and then you get the guys that are like, don't know why it's salvaged, and then or they try to say for theft, that was. Or they say, because
recovery found with the bumper cover was replaced. It's like,
or the door handle broke off and it's hard to source. Like bullshit like that, you stay away from, because that's an absolute flag. They know why it was title or salvage title. And if you look into the car, you're going to see like panels that were welded in. You're going to see like bent shit. If you get under the car, that's when you can really see. But in the engine bay, you can see fenders that were replaced, and the radiator mounts don't line up perfect. There's all the telltale signs. Avoid that kind of shady stuff, because I'm telling you, if you're getting shady stuff right up front, I guarantee there's something up with that car.
Tell you what though, my green 924 salvage title, I have no goddamn idea why it's salvaged. I mean, I have like some mild guesses, but like it's a pure speculation, because I go over the car and it's just like you just don't know. Like it's been painted yet.
If we dug in, we could probably find something going on. Get underneath, look at the control.
I think it's the front. I think it's simply the lower valance. I think that's all it is.
It could be also like it's a price point, right? Like if you're getting a couple $1,000 car, who gives a shit? But if you're showing out $20K for a newer salvage style car, you better know your shit, or you're going to be getting a ride there. Why can't my car ever get a perfect alignment? What's this weird noise I get when I go over bumps? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's salvage title
or salvage title, and they're asking like basically like low retail, like regular ass retail.
On a rare car that's hard to get, you'll see that, like, or a car that's got an enthusiast following. So I see what I'll see is like a Focus RS, a modern car, and they're holding their value really well. Cool car.
Yeah.
but I've seen salvage ones that are like 4K off of what you could get a regular clean tire. And I'm like,
instead of being like
do it.
Instead of being like 32 for like a really nice one, it's like
28,
28,
yeah.
and you're like, what? Like,
what a deal!
Stop.
Because you won't get the value on the return, guys. I'll tell you that. Like you're really not when you go to sell. So, truth. Are we ready to get quizzical, my friend?
Truth Social? No,
I feel like we've gone.
And we can do that. You'd be funny is if on the topicless episode we just did like read like a Chanel number 5 ad or something like that. It's like not even car related. But no, I won't do that to you. I will cue you up with our standard parameters. Would you like to tell?
Yeah, I can walk the folks through it. So this is our automotive print ad quiz game show focused on 80s, 90s, early 2000s vehicles. Frank today is going to read an ad out of a magazine or other periodic of the time. This ad is going to be free of manufacturer make and any other things that give it away. I'm going to guess what vehicle Frank is talking about. Got to give it to your mama.
That's right. What I got, you gotta get it.
It's his dick, right? It's his dick, right? It's Anthony Kiedis's dick.
I mean, I don't know if it's his.
He might have.
It might be Flea's dick. Disembodied.
It could be.
Flea's disembodied phallus. Yeah, like I don't.
Yeah.
It's distinctly possible. You know, he was a popular guy, that Flea, back in the day. You know, he was hanging out. He was on Back to the Future 2
with his tidy whities, right?
No, well, maybe
yes,
they were doing the sock. They were doing the sock thing though. It was just like the sock over the junk.
And I am thinking of AC/DC a little bit too. But anyway, back to the quiz game show.
Rock and roll noise pollution.
I have 3 guesses. Every time I fail, Frank will give me a hint to point me in the right direction. 10 minutes on the clock when he's done reading the ad. Anyway, we're ready to rock and roll. Frank, lay that badass ad on me, and definitely describe the angle of the car. For some reason, we really talk about.
We're going to talk about the angle of the dangle, my friend. So this is an interesting layout. It's a 1-pager, your typical vertical layout.
Okay.
We have the vehicle in black, and it's very much at night. Like it's kind of backlit. There's like a fog in the background, and all you see is it's like a head-on applied directly to the forehead, and it's pointing like straight. Like it takes up the bottom left, like half. Like the bottom, like 1/3 corner. Sorry, I'm just like making up terrible fractions. Bottom half is smoke, and the car is more in the corner. Like you only see, like the driver's side half of the front of the car. Like it's pointing at you. You can see the wheel is turned, and the whole car is like kind of like at a 15-degree angle. You can see a skinny Anglo gentleman behind the wheel. And there's like the reflectors, like extra reflecty, for lack of a better way to put it. Then it has up down the side vertical the name of the manufacturer in block letters going down the side.
Bold.
And we've got script.
Oh, what's the action phrase on? I love the big bold action.
Ready?
Yeah.
This one it's not bold. But it's got its own little start of the text here. It's its own little sentences. Bad to the bone. The blank. Remember the days when the muffled rumble of engines filled long summer nights, when black paint turned more heads than hot pants, and when the crowd down at the drive-in knew more about cars than the average engineer? Welcome back. The blank gets right down to the nitty-gritty with fat black tires, spoilers, stiff suspension package, and the full blackout treatment. Under the bulging hood resides a 3.8-liter sequential port fuel-injected, turbocharged V6 with a downright nasty growl. Inside, there's all the good stuff. Tack, turbo boost gauge, floor shifter, bucket seats, and a 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive are all standard. Buckle yourself in and visit your local blank dealer. To ask any questions, request a brochure or a test drive, call the Blank Product Information Center, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekdays, 1-800 blank blank blank. Oh, I can actually read it. If you have this memorized, then kudos to you.
I do.
1-800-852-8425. Wouldn't you really rather have a blank? Sir, the ball is in your court.
These have become, if I'm right, these have become very expensive. And there's some pretty cool badging on these.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think so. I think it's cool. So I think it is. I think this is a car that really made a lot of headlines when it came out. I think if this was offered in a manual, I would kill to have one. And I think a lot of people are bummed that it doesn't have a manual option. Are we talking about, let's just say it. Let's just not chew at the bit here. Are we talking about a Buick Grand National? Final answer?
1985. Buick Grand National. I just fired you a link in the little, I'm using technology today, in the little chat. So you can see the actual ad there.
Let me see this.
It's a really fun ad. I was actually originally looking at a different ad for the same car. But I kind of like it's funny. It's like,
Oh shit, that is an awesome ad, dude.
Right? And so what's fun with it
It's
is
like off camber. That's what you were kind of describing.
yeah, it's like a little 15-degree like tick there, and they got the like. It's really interesting, and what's funny is I like the type copy because it's very much. At the time, if we were to talk about it now, we would say like, oh yeah, it's like catering to boomers. But in 1985, I mean,
It's an edgy ad, dude.
or like that would be type copy for people like catering to us.
Oh yeah. Well, the Buick going like straight, like the entire length of the page, it says Buick.
Yeah, and when I mean us, I mean people in their like mid 30s, early 40s. Like
Sure.
that was what that type copy like. I'm trying like what would the equivalent of that be now, right? Like this one in this ad is like, like going to the fucking sock hop and like doing burnouts and there's blacked out everything and like what would the equivalent now like you're in your you've got your Nokia and you're playing Snake like I'm trying to think of like what the callback to the homies at the drive-in knew more about cars than your average engineer like
Yeah.
that's like some like quote unquote boomer shit, right? But
Well,
like
what's the analogy car for a Buick Grand National today? That's a
ooh
tough one, my friend.
um
Ooh.
an SSR. Um,
No, God.
no, I'm trying to think. Would it be? I mean, maybe a Z06, like a C5 Z06.
You think so? How about a CT4
I'm trying
black
to. I'm
one?
trying to. That's too new. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think
No,
of
I meant
like.
now. What's an analogy, like a modern car that is
Oh,
of this era that has some of the kind of vibes that the Grand National gave off?
yeah,
I think it's
probably CT. I mean, CT4 is the V6, right?
that's why
Which
I'm
this car
saying that.
is.
That's why I said that intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe.
I'm just thinking like it's funny to think back like 1985, like the talk like of it like of this ad, it's very harkening back to like people that were like into like hot rod shit in the 50s and 60s, right? Like so this ad was catering towards like people in their 30s and 40s. So for now if they were have a new car, right? Like let's say the Blackwing, like they would be talking about like shit in like when we were in high school, like when
It's
in
true.
the
Which they
late 90s, early 2000s. And so like it's
did.
just so funny to think like what how this ad would read today if it was done in the same frame in the same mindset, but it was like for the CT4 Blackwing.
Yeah,
Like
true. This car, dude, like I remember people in the 90s used to modify the shit out of these. These were drag strip heroes.
oh yeah,
Automatic was great for bracket racing where you want to
yeah,
race consistent times, right? So
ridiculous like 4,000 stall speed torque converter, and
oh,
just
they'd upgrade the turbo, they'd upgrade the boost, and they would just fucking crush like unbelievable stuff. This was so, but that's why the values are so high because there were so many wrecked ones, there were so many modified ones. To find a stock Grand National in good condition, they're
you know
really
what's
pricey.
well, you know what's funny is they're one of those cars where I think especially the GNX. version, which was like the extra spicy limited version of the Grand National, which of itself, the Grand National itself was the spicy version of the Regal T-Type.
Yep.
What's interesting is like there's certain cars when they come out, right? Like this is like I feel like this happens a lot in the Corvette community where there's like a limited edition Corvette, or they're like the Grand Sport, or the
Sure.
Z, the ZR1, pick your era, where a lot of them get like there's almost no middle ground. Like there's like a ton of them that people squirrel away, and they have like hyper low mileage, and they've been in a bubble since new.
Right.
Because somebody like was speculating it, or they would only drive it to their sock hop to talk about the spoilers and when engineers were bullshit, like the ad just talked about. And then there's other ones that were just like hardcore modified track monsters.
Yeah.
And there's no middle ground. How cool would it be to have a Grand National that was stock with like 220,000 miles on it?
Be awesome that's the one I would
there's
want.
Probably zero. There's maybe one of those cars. Like that's the rare one. The one that's been used and cared for and maintained. It is in great shape. It has 200,000 miles on it.
I have seen ones that need a little bit of restoration for like 140, 160,000 miles, and they're still asking good money. I think that's the one, because I definitely want a driver one of these. But have you ever seen like at a car show or whatever, seen a really clean Grand National? It is a fun car to take in. It's a super fun car to like evaluate and look over, because nothing else looks like them. They're so freaking angular and blocky, and but they look so menacing. It's such it just looks good. It's in all the badging. The badging is in the seat embroidery. There's so much stuff we love. It's just a cool fucking car, dude.
I feel like its spiritual replacement was, I was gonna say either, but probably both. The GMT 400 454 SS.
Yeah.
And the Impala SS, the 90s, like 94 to 96 Impala SS. Like I feel like the same words, like, like they all came in black, at least most of them on the 454 SSs, and a lot of the just like as far as the attitude that those cars carried, very similar, not mechanically, but like just the attitude that those carry, and of course the Cyclone and the Typhoon.
Yeah, shout out to the S10 crew.
That's right.
No, it's just the Grand National is cool. Even the T types are like getting some value. Like
those are cool
ones,
those
yeah. Cool. And they had some performance variants. And I'm not Mr. Buick or what, but I remember the T types had a couple variants too that were sporty, not to this level, but they had some mediocre spicy versions of that car.
Did we just do back-to-back Buick quiz games?
Holy shit, dude!
Not your grandfather's Buick.
Hey, that's a 2-car solution if ever I heard one.
Ooh, that's right.
Imagine it. You're like roughly the same period. You could have a slightly older Grand National sitting in the garage and have a brand new Roadmaster.
Should that be a one-time like game, like topic that we do, like the single make
2-car
within a 5-year time span, 2-car solution?
What do you think though, man? 2-car solution. I want to meet that guy that has a Grand National and a Roadmaster, especially a Roadmaster Woody, and then like a GNX like done up right.
That's pretty boomer special. Well, how about this? Which one would you rather try and convert to a 6-speed swap Canyon Carver?
Gotta be the Grand National.
Dude, but how dope would an LT1 powered 6-speed manual swap?
Too big.
Put a T56 there. It bolt up. Like, you can do it. Like,
bro, it's way too big.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You put some just sticky, like Viper fucking wheels and tires on it, like 355 rears, just pure mechanical grip, like no finesse.
You'd have to weld. You wouldn't even do sway bars on a on a Roadmaster. You'd like weld in like straight up structural beams from a high rise building to like keep it from rolling on itself.
Yeah, exactly. I-beams, I-beam like Panhard bar or something like that.
You wouldn't have to worry about jet fuel melting it, right?
No, it's good. It's hey, we weren't gonna get into politics.
Oh, watch out!
You son of a bitch.
The moon landing was fake. But no, dude, what a fucking cool, like, imagine that guy with two sweet ass, man. We need to get some more Buicks. We need some Buicks in our lives.
You know what? I saw, and I almost took a photo of it, but then I would have been extra. No. I would have looked extra foolish, which I already look foolish just in general, says the guy wearing a hot dog shirt.
Agreed.
I saw in the wild a new Buick Avenir. Like I don't even. It's like one of their SUVs that they offer, and it had like the Avenir script on the back.
I saw one the other day, and it reminds me of Daewoo, where you can barely fucking read what that was, and I was like,
"Was that a Laganza?"
Buick? Yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah, Daewoo Laganza," but it was written so horribly. I'm like, "Oh, this is garbage. Get it out of my face."
You know what I want? We need to get a guest on the pod. Someone who like worked at like Daewoo of North America. We need like an executive level Daewoo like product planner from back in the day to like come on and just be like, bro, we fucked up so bad, and just like talk about. We need hard hitting Daewoo talk on the pod is what we need.
We should have
a Daewoo man. We need Brian Nesbitt.
Saving Daewoo episode.
Rebirthing, exactly. Yeah, rebirthing Daewoo.
Which could probably be done since Hyundai and Kia are certainly nailing it for that market. So
is Daewoo still like Korean GM?
I'm sure it was
GM ownership.
Oh, I guarantee that was the IP for that has been probably bought up like 30 times. I guarantee.
I don't know. I feel like it's still GM. It might not be.
I don't think.
Should we real time research it, or is that too like in the woods?
We are definitely up against time, but I'm curious. But I'd probably venture a bet that it's been purchased a few times.
Daewoo Motors.
Hey, God, he's still doing it.
I'm still doing it. Daewoo Motors was a South Korean company. They might not even exist anymore.
Well, the IP, you can still buy it. You can still buy the Daewoo brand and everything.
No. So, holy smokes! So a lot of people owned it. GM Korea owned it, 72 to 76. This says they disappeared in 2002. They're defunct, bankrupt, acquired by General Motors in 2002.
Right.
Restarted as GM Daewoo. So Daewoo is sort of gone.
Well, the Aveo, right?
Ultimately,
didn't they get the Aveo out of that deal too?
Yeah, GM withdrawal from Europe and crisis. It's complicated, but it sounds like for the most part, as far as anyone's concerned, it is still GM ownership.
Okay, fair enough.
The more you know.
Daewoo episode, which I literally don't know anything about Daewoo other than they sucked. But
I've driven a very low mile Laganza. Like it was like a 21,000 mile Laganza.
This is the part where I say I'm not too jealous.
No one is. Mr. Daewoo himself. But yeah,
I have like a Kia.
Mr. Daewoo.
I remember I knew this guy that bought a Kia Sophia, like a new one, and like within 1 year, the windshield wiper arms just broke off where they connect, and
you don't need those.
That thing was such a pile of poop. But anyway, let's do some freaking good old wholesome PCP, which is Project Car Progress. And you kind of went off last time, so
yeah, you lead this dance, and I'll try and put a quick, painful bow on the end of it.
Yeah, just finish it is what I'd like to say to you. But
yeah,
get behind me.
Oh boy.
So PCP for me has been the Isuzu Trooper you see behind me. So when I initially got the vehicle, I popped the radiator cap off, and it was pretty crusty under there. Not too unreasonable for an older truck. 283,000 miles, right? So cooling systems over time, if you don't flush your cooling system on these older vehicles, you can really like run into some issues because a lot of people don't know that you're supposed to change your damn coolant. And the only time coolant gets changed on old vehicles is when they get a leak and they empty out unplanned. So I always noticed a lot of crust in there, and I know the difference between oil and crust in a cooling system. So it was definitely crust. Dude, when I drained it, it was just water. So I don't know how long they were running just water.
Tap.
Yeah, probably. It was crusty. So I didn't taste it. It didn't taste like sparkling mineral water. It definitely wasn't.
Topo Chico?
It wasn't. Yeah, that's a good brand too. But I like Le Croix and get some good flavor in the Le Croix.
Remy Le Croix.
But dude, so like I poured it out and I'm like, fuck. because there's like two things I don't like to see in cars: when they pull the thermostat out and when they fill it with just water, because water is way better at keeping temps down. A lot of people don't fully understand how that works, but water keeps temps down but has a higher boiling point, so there's that threshold you got to be within. And it doesn't prevent against rust at all. So
galvanic corrosion.
Yeah, so you're going to get that rust. So I don't know if it was someone trying to hide something. The car never overheats. The truck, sorry, never overheats, and I haven't any overheating since I've done this. But anyway, I used a product called Thermocure. You ever mess around? You ever fuck with that, Frank? Thermocure.
Is that like water wetter? Because I've dicked with some water wetter.
Water wetter's the shit. Thermocure is an evapor rust product made by the CRC company, which makes really good solvents, and it attacks rust. Like in a cooling system, it's intentionally made for that. So I'm not putting like a household deruster for old like power tools or something.
CLR,
yeah, and it breaks all your seals down.
Calcium lime rust.
Now my car really leaks. But Thermocure, you run it through, and I ran it for over a week. So it was just water, and it's a clear liquid. Dude, when I drained it out, it looked like black licorice with a hint of green, like thick, like oil. And so what it does, it reacts to rust and old coolant. It breaks down old coolant deposits. Dude, I flushed it no fewer than 8 times with just pure water, like heat cycle, drain, heat cycle, drain. It took 8 whole times to get all that out of the system. But that Thermocure beat the shit out of that rust. But that first time I dropped it when it was just nothing but water and clear Thermocure, it was like absolutely black licorice, dude. It was like blew my mind how well it worked. So super happy now. Put 50-50 mix of coolant in there. So no, it never had overheating issues, and it's definitely not going to anywhere. But that would have been around the corner. If you let too much rust get in, it gets in like it usually get wedged into the water pump somewhere, sometimes in your heater core, which can become a real pain in the ass. Obviously a radiator is a collection point for it, but we got to it before. So the trooper's pretty happy, man.
A happy trooper.
Happy little pooper trooper.
That's right.
How about you, man?
Fantastic.
What you been up on lately?
I bought 6 new cars. No, I have not. What I have done was buy some parts though. So I got the various cylinders that I need for the Galant. I also ordered floor mats because when I got it, it just had no floor mats. So these aren't originals, but they were cheap. It was like $42 for like cut deep pile new floor mats for the front.
So the Galant floor mats, I have an old pair that I won't use in the car because they basically self-destruct. They become like foam, like
the bottom just like delaminates and turns into ash like instantly. But they're pretty like it's funny because they're kind of heavy. Like they're well built, but like they just like they've got the little patch that says like Galant on it. And
there's guys on the forums that make the Galant VR4 specific. They'll embroider it so it looks like factory. Those are really cool, and I will one day break for a set of those for sure.
Yeah. So I got that stuff here, so that's good. Tires are on back order for the 924, the little green car. I was finally able to get tires on order for them in the right size. They are the Vredestein Sprints, which is 180 tread wear, old school pattern, like really sticky, icky. Ooh, put it in the air sort of tire, but they're on back order till the end of the month. So those are en route.
How wide is that? Is that 175 series?
180. It's a 185 70 14. Originally, they were 165 75s. But those are they have like the 185 70 is like the exact same. Like that's what anyone, even like in period, is what people kind of replace them with.
Gotcha.
Because it's like the same exact height, total height. But you get a little 20 millimeter section. Yeah, and you don't go full like roller skate. So those will be good. Those will show up eventually. Other than that, it's just I need to not have as many cars as I have. Oh, and the thing behind me, the little Honda C70 Passport. I got new tires and inner tubes and everything for that as well. They're white walls.
Nice.
So those are going to be cool because those have the original freaking tires on them, and it'll hold air for about 40 minutes. So it's so I just ordered parts, and so stuff is trickling in.
It takes time to order parts, my man. It takes time.
Yep.
You do that recently. And I forgot to mention this last time when I buying parts for 3 cars.
Yeah.
Parts are like one of those things, like you can get the exact same part in 20 different places for 20 different prices, and it's the exact same part. And as soon as you pull the trigger, you see one for $20 cheaper. But it's a lot of research, man. And parts ordering takes time. It takes a lot of time.
You go to order it and you finally find the one, you're like, God, this one's like, it'll save me like $7, and like, but like they have this other thing in stock and I can get that one that the other place doesn't. And you're like, you piece it all together and then you place the order, and then like you get like the immediate email. This is actually on back order. Like, God, you just like want to just, yeah.
Would you like to keep your order in? I'm like, no, I know how this game plays out. You keep my money for like 6 months.
Yeah. So I think what sucks is I want to do some sort of a road trip. I've got some like work stuff I can get done in the Pac Northwest, and I'm trying to organize it maybe around the Pac Northwest Radwood show, which is August 26th in Tacoma. So that would be cool, but I kind of would be like, dude, I kind of want to drive, and I kind of want to take the 924, but I won't have tires in time, and I'm not driving it that far on 21-year-old tires. Just not a good thing.
I don't think you'll turn back, to tell you the truth.
I'll make it somewhere.
Yeah.
An early grave.
Oh. All right. Well,
anywho, should we put a bow on this pointless episode?
Yeah, let me close it down. Thanks for listening along, guys. As always, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to tune in at any of your favorite podcast locations and rate and review the podcast. We really appreciate any and all feedback. You can also check us out on YouTube. We do have a audio visual conflagration
experience.
Just I don't know.
Conflagration is probably the best way to put it. Like
it's
aggregate of garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. All right. But yeah, check us out there too. Drop by. Free subscriptions are running this entire month. So jump on our YouTube. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe half off. But we do appreciate it. Again, coming from both of us, we honestly enjoy doing this, and we hope you guys are getting some enjoyment out of it, some form of entertainment. Also follow along on Instagram, APA Podcast. We are horrible about posting there, but we're getting a little
guilt trip us, homies.
Yeah, we guilt trip
us up on there and be
enough.
like, bros, like there's not enough on here. You're dragging down my life.
You guys are horrible. But check us out on there. But Frank, where can the good folks follow your personal endeavors?
Oh boy. If you are, I apologize in advance. But yeah, usually on the Instagrams and the YouTubes as the Photographer's Garage. How about you, homie? Where can the people track you down in the night?
Yeah, Auto Obsessive Garage. Mostly on the tubes, a little flip there. Mostly on the tubes for rescues, reviews, restorations, and all the R's associated with crappy cars. Check me out on there. Some presence on Instagram. But again, thanks from both of us, guys. We really do appreciate you guys listening. And as always, take care. We'll catch you on the next one.